I thought, oh, my voice is moving her. She's being moved by this thing, right? And then her head never comes up, and then all of a sudden the guy gets up from the table, and there's a big group. There's about 12 people there with this woman, and then the wheelchair comes over and security, and then the slaps start and the screams start, and like it was fucking crazy. And they escorted her out, and then our dancers on the other side of this on stage right, they told me after they could hear her screaming and fighting as they escorted her out. But what was weird was the whole group got up and left, and they were the two front VIP tables in the center, so the whole room can see it. And you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
It turns out I didn't know what it was, but it turns out after the fact, it's the first time she had ever tried tequila.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
can relate. Tequila.
That would be great if you would have played.
But I'm not going to try. I'm not going to take ecstasy or eat mushrooms or like the first time in front of 300 people. It's not going to be my first experience. I don't know what I'm getting into.
Rookie move.
Yeah. Oh man, like there was a time I went to Mexico and we were drinking drinks. They were called something. I think it was the El Gringo, and it was blue tuaco and tequila. And we drank so many of those that it got to a point that we were at an all-inclusive resort, and they put a sign up on the bar saying they couldn't serve us anymore. And my wife's uncle was so pissed. He was yelling in the bar. He's like, "Oh, shove that sign up his fucking ass!" And like,
wow. yeah, that was close to this thing. Yeah, it doesn't gringo means white person, right?
Yeah.
So you should know.
Basically
that.
Means tourist.
Right,
It's basically
if they name a drink that, don't drink that shit.
Yeah. I lived in Laredo for like 3 years, so it's basically the Mexican border. And anytime you gringo, you're like, why don't you just say what you like? You're like, dude, you're a tourist. You can't do what we do. You can't drink what we drink. You're not allowed to eat our food.
Warning.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
The worst being in like a resort in Mexico. And obviously, like you go to those resorts, most of the people there, most of the employees, they speak English, 100%. And the worst part is I didn't even bother with it. My wife is trying to like learn a few words before you leave. And then you just fuck it up the entire time you're there. And you're just sitting there and they're looking at you like, come on, fucker. Like, we know you don't know this. Just talk to us in English and we'll do whatever.
You're honoring them by trying, though. And I think that's important as Americans, that we travel, whatever. I remember I toured with Peter Murphy in Portugal, Italy, and Spain. And I was going over there with another show. My fiance at the time sang with Pink Martini, a world band. And on the way over, and we were in France too, and I speak a little bit of French in high school and whatever. But I'm doing Rosetta Stone on the airplane going over, and I'm trying to digest 3 languages. How am I going to walk out in front of 1,000 people with an acoustic guitar and talk to this foreign audience? Everybody spoke English, and I was a complete idiot on stage. So, you try, it's okay. What are you going to do?
And what we're going to do is, of course, our show, I don't know how much Eileen told you about the show, but we're a little bit different than most podcasts. Like, we do like news articles, we do games, we do all kinds of fun stuff, just to make it a little bit of a different experience, because most podcasts you go and you get bombarded with 8,000 questions, and it's pretty much almost the same experience every show you go on. We try to be a little bit different. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into our first news article. We're going to read it, and then we're going to talk about it and react to the news article. The first one is, a hippo swallows a 2-year-old boy and spits him out. And this happened in Uganda. A 2-year-old boy in Uganda was swallowed by a hippo and then spit back out after a witness pelted the animal with stones. The police said the attack happened in April, but wasn't reported to officers until Monday. Well, that's awfully fucking big window of time.
I see it all the time. It's not new. Kids can even be hippos all the time.
It says, police says that the boy was playing at his home when the hippo grabbed him by the head and swallowed half of his body. Holy shit. That's like the live version of Hungry Hungry Hippos right there. If you've ever played Hungry Hungry Hippos, like he's just grabbing the boy and off he goes. And it says the boy was rushed to the clinic and taken to a hospital for further treatment. They said the boy has recovered fully after receiving the vaccine for rabies. Wait, hippos can get rabies?
Yeah.
Wild animal. Sure.
Really? I never knew a hippo could get raped. That's kind of a weird thing. Like I could see a dog or a cat, like, hey, my dog or my cat has rabies, but a hippo, like, I don't know.
Dude,
What do you know about hippos? What do you know about? Give us some facts about hippos that you do know.
All I know is that hippo's like, what'd that goddamn kid have? Like, he gave me rabies.
Yeah.
Shot.
They gave the hippo the shot, not the kid.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like with this, now, Mike, do you think that if you were ever in a situation, I would hope that you would never be in an area where you could be attacked by a hippo, because if that's me, I'm not going near the area where hippos are, because I do know they are extremely dangerous animals.
They're very aggressive.
Yeah, and they're probably one of the deadliest animals in the world.
I know.
Now, if a hippo were to grab you, do you think if you were playing your guitar near the water and a hippo were to grab you, if you were to put your guitar up and down, do you think that hippo's bite power would bite right through it?
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm thinking that thing's got some pretty strong jaws. Yeah.
Have you seen
alligators too? Right?
Yeah.
People live near alligators and they get eaten all the time. So maybe the hippos in that in Rwanda, or where was it?
Uganda. Yeah.
Uganda. Common. Walking down the street, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of feel like I know the boys too, but I feel like he needs to take up an instrument of some kind, because if this boy has like a trumpet or, a drumstick or a guitar or something, and he's just playing while he's like walking along the water, that hippo grabs him. He now has a weapon. He can, that hippo bites through. You have a string to try to, flee yourself out. You can hit it with whatever. And like, I can't imagine what it would be like seeing the inside of a hippo's mouth. Like, they have a couple of teeth, so I guess he didn't bite down on the boy too much.
He's got more teeth than you think they do. In the cartoons, they got like those 4 big teeth, but I think they have more than that.
I mean, I don't know, because the article said he wasn't he didn't lose any limbs or
well, because it swallowed his ass. It didn't chomp down.
Yeah,
tried to engulf him.
Swallows him whole.
Sounds like Ray is really optimistic. Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So the kid lucked out. Yeah, a 2-year-old child. That's like a fucking snack to him.
Yeah. Well, it says that it's estimated that as many as 500 to 3,000 humans die from hippos attack each year.
I believe it.
Although hippos are vegetarian, National Geographic says they can be aggressive when they sense danger. So I guess they found this little boy as a sense of danger, and they were like, "Yep, all right, hungry hippos."
Fuck it, I'm eating them anyway.
Now, Mike, with playing, what have you ever? And of course, I did pro wrestling very long time. I did pro wrestling 20 years independently, and there's times where you walk into a venue. And, I'm not sure if Miles, once he comes through, if he can, also say the same thing. But have you ever walked into a venue where you kind of walked in and you kind of looked around? You're like, well, this is going to be fucking, fantastic.
Are you being sarcastic with the fantastic part? Because
yes.
Yeah, no, we and I hope Miles can jump in. Miles called me about 4:00. His motorcycle broke down. He's on the side of the highway in LA. And he's trying to work it out. So he said he'll pop in late. We were on tour one time and we were doing theater stuff. We were main support of a bigger act, and we had some holes, like a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and we were passing through somewhere in California. I think it was California. And our agent said, "Hey, I got a fill date for you. Don't freak out. It's in a sushi restaurant." I'm like, what? So we were a 3-piece trio, and we can do acoustic. We had variations, but he goes, "It's a really hot club. It's bands play there, all this stuff." We walk in and it's a little teeny stage, basically a drum riser, with this one cable coming out of the ground, which apparently was to plug the microphone in. And it was literally a sushi place. Now I am an optimistic. I'm thinking, oh, maybe the place is going to get packed or something. Right. So we played, we got paid $300, and we played for the sushi chef, the server, and the host, and one person, so 4 people. That was a place that I had the intuition to go, oh, this is going to be great. you know, I hope for the best, and boy, was that a mistake. But we did. We got $300. It was gas money, whatever. You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, shit, you guys got paid.
and then we ate sushi. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, you have free sushi, and there's like 4 people who had just like the greatest experience of their life. They're like, "Oh my god, do you know who played in the sushi restaurant with us tonight?"
It was pretty wild. Our RV and trailer like took up the whole block of where this place was at. You know?
I once
It's like a step up from the Blues Brothers scene.
Yeah, right.
I once wrestled a show at an armory in I think it was Chambersburg, PA. And we wrestled the show, and the promoter was saying, we're gonna have a huge crowd. We're gonna have a huge crowd. 5 minutes before bell time, there's 3 people and a dog in the crowd. So me and my tag partner were like, put us on first. We want to get this done and get out of here so we can go see tits at the strip club. So we were originally like 6th or 7th on the card. And we were like, we want to go first. So we went first. And I mean, that's the thing. No matter what, you go out and you work, you know, I mean, Christ, during COVID era, and I'm sure you probably had some of it, you know, during COVID era, for the first time in wrestling history, you're having WWE and all those places wrestle shows in front of no crowds. Like they're just, and weird. It's weird not having a crowd react. Now, did you guys during the pandemic do anything like that? Because it's so much differently, you know, doing stuff without the crowd reaction, without being able to feed into the energy of the crowd, you know, doing
100%,
stuff.
100%. I mean, it takes a lot more work to, you know, we don't know, like we're sold out tonight. Tonight's the last show of the year for us. We're not doing New Year's Eve, but like, you know, go back 3-4 weeks ago, we had 60 people. There's a big difference, as you know, about the energy coming, and it requires a lot of energy out, and you don't get a lot of that back. I'm a ham. I'll play for 5 people. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, it's totally different. And during COVID, we did some things in the very beginning because we didn't know what it was. We were freaked out. We all have studios in the house, and we did do some of that stuff where they recorded there and I recorded here, and then I put it all together with video and stuff. I did attempt to do a couple of Facebook lives.
Yeah.
The first one I did was brutal. Like,
really?
Brutal. Yeah, because you know, I don't know how I'm doing, and I'm used to like getting that energy. Now, the second one, I realized I'm not doing this for people who are viewing necessarily. I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing it and I'm in myself and being. And if I did it that way, all of a sudden I kind of fell into my groove and just played music, and people enjoyed it. Great. But the first one, I felt like I was putting on a show, and it's not, because I mean, even like this. I mean, this. If we were all on stage in front of a live audience right now, it would be different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have a live audience right now, but I mean, you get that energy back. But you got to get used to doing this, and you've been doing this for a while, right? So you get used to it. I've been doing this for a while now too. I'm used to it. But in the beginning, it was like, man, I thought I had one of the worst shows of my entire life, and there was nobody in the room.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can ask Jerry. We've known Jerry for a long time. He has, you know, his own podcast, Share a Pint, you know, shout out to, you know, your podcast, Share a Pint. But like this podcast was a COVID baby. Like there wasn't really much going on, and me and Matt were like, well, screw it, let's do it. You know, me being the pro wrestler, we've always done live. Like we do a couple of tape shows. That's normally our local features, or we go out and feature local bars or local events. But other than that, the regular show, I'm like, I don't know anything else but live. Like, you know, when we started off, we were very scripted. We were very, you know, let's stick to these questions. Let's stick to this. And then I was like, well, you know, we did this in wrestling, and we would forget all of our spots in the ring, and then we had to improvise, and ended up having better matches sometimes, just improvising and calling it on the fly. That's what I do with this. I'm just like, okay, let's just get on, talk, and do our little games and all that fun stuff, and see what we come up with. And how long has it been that you and Miles, that you guys have been together now?
So I've known Miles. I lived in the Bay Area for almost 10 years, and Miles was about 20. Let's see, I was 36 when I moved to the Bay Area. Miles was, he was just a baby. He was maybe 21 or 22, and I started playing music around the great music scene in San Francisco Bay Area, and I started playing with guys, and we crossed paths, and we kind of hit it off. I did not know who his dad was, but this kid could play guitar. It was crazy. He never really sold that. In fact, he didn't want to be anybody to know who his dad is. He's kind of that thing. He really wants to carve out his own life, and he has. He's incredible. I think he's a better guitar player than his dad, if you ask me. But we started hanging, and then he wanted to play with us, so we started to do a couple shows. He put together an original band. We started playing together. He was going to do some touring. Reckless in Vegas started out as an original band in the Bay Area. What we're doing now is a different thing, but we just became friends. And during COVID, he was doing something through Vegas, and he said, "Hey, can I stop by your house?" And he came by, and I was working on something on the piano. He goes, "What are you working on?" And I played it for him, and he started to like critique my lyrics and be like, "Well, he asked me, who are you singing about? And what is they?" And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing, man?" And I go, "Stick to the guitar." We almost got a beef about it, but I go, "You got a point." And he helped me craft the lyrics of this song. And it occurred to us that the song, I don't tend to write about people per se. Like you might hear one of my songs, I think, oh, that's written about a woman that broke his heart or whatever. I write, most of my stuff is about the relationship I have with myself. Yeah. It sounds like it's about somebody outside of me, but it's usually not. So that's what that song was about. But we made it about a relationship personal to him. And before we knew it, we started to write some more songs together. He came back to town, and we worked with producer Tom Fletcher. And all of a sudden we've got 8, 9 songs recorded that are like really good songs. We got to do something with this. So we decided to do another couple songs, get a 10-song album, worked with another producer in McMinnville. And so basically we started this album in 2020. Is that when COVID started? Was it March of 2020? Yeah. Okay. So around that first year. So it's been a couple of years in the making. Before that, we just jammed together on stage together. We never did any writing together, and it's pretty magical because it's truly a collaboration, unlike any of the other things I've done before. Usually I write the music, I write the lyrics, I'll get a band around it, and I'll get a producer, but this has been truly a shared effort. He's a great songwriter.
Nice.
And how'd the name come about?
Yeah,
so his name's Miles, Schon, right?
Right.
Okay, what's the name of your podcast again?
Mine is Share a Pint.
And this is the happy hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a drinking theme here,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to. I mean, you say what the name is. So Miles, many miles away.
Nice.
Miles. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
I'll slow it down for you. That was all joking. I'm sorry. That didn't rewrite, did it?
Yeah, there's nobody in the audience. We got 2 people in the sushi bar.Ry it again.
I feel like that. I couldn't even get you, Jerry. Come on, man. Yeah, many miles away. We talked about just we both like some sci-fi stuff, but space is always so in its infinity. It goes on and on and on and on. So we just thought many miles away was a cool name. Plus, Miles. I mean, he's really. I'm older than he is. This kid is something else, man. So we wanted to put his name in it, and we just thought it was a cool name. There's not much thought behind it, actually.
That's pretty
cool. It doesn't have to have an extensive story. It just has to be something that means something to you guys, which is cool.
We tried, many mic away. It didn't work.
Well, it's cool because it's different also. Like you hear that, it's something that just kind of stands out. And actually there's Miles right there. Let me go ahead and
coming in?
Speaking of the devil,
his ears are hot. He's like, I hear you guys talking about me.
He just got done fending off a hippopotamus with his motorcycle.
On the side of the road. Tried to eat him and his motorcycle.
What's up, guys?
Poor Miles is going to come in and be like, "What did I just walk into?"
Most guests are like that.
That's very true.
And of course, we're here on YouTube Live. Of course, our buddy Jason, he said, "Did you guys see the video of the kid being picked up by the giraffe on YouTube?" No, we have not. However, I can imagine that kid. Yeah, I will definitely look that up. And then Jason said, "What's your guys' favorite band to play with?"
Just like of all time, like who we've opened. Well, first of all, I do want to explain to Miles what you guys do on this show, because he just come in. I mean, we talk about hippos and
hippo attacks.
Miles, this isn't a regular or typical podcast you come on. We do all kinds of. We talked about an article of a hippo that swallowed a small 2-year-old boy and spit him back out. Not long before you came on, he said you were having motorcycle issues. I was like, "Oh, there's Miles." I was like, he must have been fending off a hippopotamus with his motorcycle.
Yeah, my back's hurting, that's for sure.
That question would be a good one for you, Miles, because you've played with some incredible. I mean, we both have, but Miles has been really blessed with. Who's your favorite person to play with? The question, does it mean a band on stage with, or maybe open for, or what was it? Can you clarify that question?
I think it's just open. Jason, in the live feed, if you can clarify, he just said, "What's your guys' favorite band to play with?"
All right, Miles, take that, man.
I mean, I played with so many bands, and it comes down to to me, it's always the drummer. like who's your favorite drummer you played with, because that's everything.
Yeah.
They're the rhythm section, they're the heart, and the soul behind it. And my favorite drummer, I played with a lot of great drummers, but my favorite as a human being, I think as well, outside of music, Omar Hakim.
Okay.
And just like his presence in the studio and working songs out, he just elevated everything. And tensions run high sometimes in music, and people got their egos and all this kind of shit that's involved with it. And I've never met such like a Zen master of his craft, and really like that's two separate things, and to be able to channel all that into your music he's an amazing person and a drummer.
And I know, Mike, we asked this to Mike earlier and you weren't here quite yet. What do you recall for probably like while you've been up on stage, looking out in the crowd, one of the craziest things you've seen while playing, and you're just kind of sitting there still playing like, well, this is happening right now, but the show needs to keep going.
Has something to do with
For me?
Yeah.
I already answered it. It's your turn, man.
No, I got you. Shoot, I don't know.
It's got tits in it, Miles, I'm sure. Come on, give us a tits story. By the way, have you guys seen Eileen's tits yet? Just a question.
No, we have not.
I keep hearing about there's something special. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, Miles, back to you.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I've done some shows in San Francisco that there's some wild audience members, and they're grabbing at you, and like you're there in San Francisco Park, and it's just a different scene. Everybody's on drugs, and they're living their life like they're still in the 60s.
One of my favorite things at shows is when people crowd surf, and then you just all of a sudden they just vanish. Like, I guess people just get tired of pushing them along, and they sink into the crowd, and you never see them again. And it's just like, did they fall through a portal to hell? Like, what just happened right now?
Normally, because when you're in the crowd and they're crowd surfing, like you don't know who's coming, if they're coming from behind you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit. And then they fall through the cracks. And
oh yeah. Well, that happened.
I've had that happen to me.
We saw that guy get murdered at Metallica. He was crowd surfing and his Converse fell off and hit a guy's $9 beer.
Oh yeah.
So the guy grabbed his Converse and with precision skill threw the Converse and hit the guy in the face with it. And then he sunk into the crowd, never to be seen again.
Actually murdered.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He could have died. His head snapped back so quick that I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life.
Right, I'm going to prickly bring it off of murder. I'm trying to like side rail this show back in. Miles, when you were talking about playing with a lot of people, I know that you had done some work with Scott Page, who's been a former guest on the show, was a great guest, really, really great guy. So tell me, what did you do with him and what was that experience like?
Scott Page does this Pink Floyd tribute, being that he played with Pink Floyd, and there's a lot of great players in there. Everybody was somebody who played with somebody, and I think those guys were probably the best tribute I've ever heard of it, and I think it's mainly due to because they don't try to play it exactly as it is. They're all, experienced musicians, and it's not note for note. It's really coming off the feel, and some of the guitar solos Scott would play versus me playing them. The few gigs that I've done both where I just filled in on guitar for them, and then I've also sang in, done the guitar parts, Gilmore stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, they're great band, like an amazing band.
How did that come about for you to be involved with that? Because he talked about that project, and that just sounds like an incredible show to see. But how did you come involved?
My buddy Derek Day, who's another young, great guitar singer, player, and he went on tour opening up for Motley Crue on that big tour with his band Classless Act, and he was primarily doing the front man role in Scott's band. So when he took off, they were calling around, and I came in and did a few shows with them until he got back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good band. I mean, playing that stuff just with that, Stephen Perkins is like such a monster drummer also too. I'll keep talking about drummers, but he's got that, Jane's Addictions and he just brings this like tribal element to everything that you're playing. So it's even more groovy than what I ever imagined Pink Floyd would be live, which I haven't seen either Roger Waters or David Gilmour. But plenty of live film.
Right. That's awesome. Well, we got to hear Michael's version of the story. So tell us your version of meeting Michael and how it came about that you guys are on this project now. That's really exciting with the two of you working together.
Should we tell them the real story, Mike?
Well, I made up all shit about the strippers, and I tried to like inflate it a little bit, So just be real about it.
I met Mike in Marin County, and he had his band Reckless in Vegas, which they're still doing a lot of original stuff back then, and it was a great band. And I felt like I was one of the only rock bands in town at the time of my age bracket. Michael's a little bit older than I am, but I just loved his voice and sound of his band. And we did a couple shows together at George's and went really well. And so we, kept in touch through the years. And Mike moved to Vegas like a few years later, and I was in LA touring and stopping in Vegas, and we reconnected and started writing and getting into this project that we're into right now.
That's pretty good. That's like we kind of aligned on we had the same experience.
It's like a police lineup. You guys told the same story. Where you guys are
texting him right now. So I don't know what to say.
It's all written down.
Now here's the question: which one of you guys? And I'm not going to say really like which one is the troublemaker of the group, but which one of you guys really kind of like is more of the hellraiser of the group? Mike's like, oh.
You know what I like being in a band with Mike is you can't put that on me. It's not just typically it would be me, but it's not just me.
I have a past. My past was really bad like that, and I'm pretty tame now, and Miles too. Music is so important to us, and when we go out and do shows, and we're pretty pro about it, and we don't like a lot of drama, and you just kind of, that stuff was fun. Miles, you got a bass. You had a good time doing all that stuff, but right now we're just honoring the music, and we want to put this out. And so when we go out, we're serious about it. And I look at when we go out and tour together, we've only done a few shows with this new material. Who knows? Miles has to fend all the ladies away all the time. This guy right here, let me tell you, I thought I had the little charm going on. He didn't even do anything. He just plays the little thing on the guitar and panties drop everywhere. Wow.
So I guess do you see a lot of tits during live shows as well?
Never ones you generally want to see,
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
The old titties that you got to sign at the end of the show. It's never ones that you really want to see.
It's the titties like when you go to a nude beach, you're like, I got it. I'm going to go to the nude beach. This is going to be awesome. And then you get to the nude beach and you're like, this is not awesome. I need to get the fuck out of here now.
Yeah, we're not in France. That's for sure.
I played nude stock one year in Tracy, California. Miles, did you ever play that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Fucking Tracy, bro. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's called nude stock, and we roll into the band, and there's 2,000 people. They're all naked.
Yeah,
and it changed my whole. I don't know. I just was like, whoa, okay. I was prejudging certain people that I shouldn't have, and then, all the prejudgment. Like you just never know what the package has because you might prejudge someone and go, oh, I don't want to see that. But then you're like, wow, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So being open to that kind of stuff. But when I did the tour with Great White back many, many years ago, I toured with Great White and it was a true rock and roll tour. I never saw so many tits everywhere. And they all wanted you to sign them. And I'm just like, I've arrived. I'm a rock star. This is amazing.
I am now in rock and roll.
Yeah, okay, this is it.
I'm picturing that experience being like when Ray and then went to Exotica and they were just like, look at all these porn stars and they know me.
We just brought up Exotica because what Miles said is kind of what Exotica was because the porn stars were dressed, but you had all these women walking around with their tits out.
Well, because
they were just patrons. patrons.
Right,
Yeah.
it wasn't just the porn stars. It was
Yeah.
like just the patrons.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is she wearing? Why is she wearing that? It's like the tits that you did not want to see.
Yeah, we literally seen a girl pick up what was an octopus tentacle dildo and like hold it like a baby and to just leave. And we're like, oh wow, somebody's gonna have a awesome night tonight.
It was better than a hippo.
Yeah.
Hippo showed their vagina.
Speaking of the hippo.
And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get into another one of our news articles, which this one is black man disguises himself as a white man to carry out more than 30 burglaries. And it says a black man has been accused of burgling a series of Los Angeles homes while wearing a realistic mask, which made him look white. Rockham Powell, 30, has been charged with 2 counts of burglary, grand theft, and 1 count of vandalism, the Beverly Hills Police Department said. Officers investigated a string of burglaries in an affluent suburb and had noticed the suspect's mouth always appeared to be open in CCTV footage. And then they realized that the burglar was wearing a mask, which gave him the appearance of a white man with thick brown hair. Oh shit!
That's not very
It's
good.
just like the dude from White Chicks. hold on, wait. So this is what they saw on the CCTV camera. That's horrifying. Like what is that? And apparently,
That's
like
Michael.
That's like a rural Michael Myers. His
Yeah,
figure.
that's like what the dude looks like, and that's like the mask. So like that's a lot of effort to get a mask like that. Like is this like reverse like blackface pretty much? Like I mean, like what is
It's not a fairly good mask. I mean, that's
like yeah.
oh
My God.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Like he looks like an albino person. Like, have you ever seen anybody that's albino? Like, that's what he looks like.
Just looks like he's got a skin disease.
What happens if you guys look out in the crowd and like you see someone rocking out, but like their mouth's not moving, and you're just kind of like, is this person wearing a mask? Like what? Like they're singing along with like they said his mouth wasn't moving. So imagine them singing along with your songs, but then all of a sudden, like nothing's just coming out. Like the mouth just isn't registering.
I mean, I've played a lot of Halloween shows.
What's the okay? You played a lot of Halloween shows. What's the wildest costume you've ever seen at a Halloween show?
I'm trying to think of what the one that I went to this year in Laguna. Everybody, it was crazy. Everybody was like going all out, and I felt bad because I rolled up on my motorcycle just like, slicked back and did the greaser thing, and I was like, I'm super normal here,
There was one year we saw someone and he was a walking claw machine. Like he made himself into a claw machine and he had stuffed animals and he programmed it to where you could press a button and the claw would actually go down and move and all that bullshit. Like it was some of the craziest shit we've ever seen in our lives. And like with that, like, have you guys, while you've been on stage, have you guys ever done like anything where you kind of do like dueling guitars or anything like that, where like you guys kind of do like a guitar duel off while you're on stage?
Yeah, when we first jammed together, that's exactly what we did. And we got footage of that too, Mikey. That's why I sent it to you there. I was like, look how young we are.
It's on YouTube, right?
Is it really?
Yeah. We were doing a cover song of a band called Drama Rama. You guys know who that is? The song was called Anything, Anything. And it was, we did some trading. It's the first time I learned that Miles, his amp is always louder than the other guitar players.
This goes to 11. It goes to 11.
And I thought, oh shit. So now I know when I play with Miles, I'm turning my amp up. It was so much fun. But the new project, we have our second single, Get It Back. That's got some dual guitar parts in it. We'll be doing live. We're going to probably do that as a dual guitar solo. I'm in this band, I'm doing more just straight rhythm if I'm playing and singing. When you have a weapon like Miles here, like I don't even feel the need to play guitar. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a whole different thing. And I'm a pretty good guitar player. It's a different thing. So it's nice to not have to worry about in Reckless in Vegas. I'm doing rhythms, leads, fronting, singing, all of it. It is such a gift to have a musician of such talent with you in the show. And I mean, you got to see him play, you guys. You're going to be blown away. But I look forward to turning my amp up to keep up with him on Get.
So how are we going to do that? How are we going to be able to see you guys play? Because this is a new project. So tell us about, what's coming out, when you guys are touring, how we can come see you. Let us know.
First single, we just finished the music video for it. That's going to be out January 17th. The single will be available on all music platforms.
Nice.
The second single will come out about the same time in February, and then the album comes out in March. Now we're going to New York at the end of this month to do some appearances. We're going to probably, hopefully, in springtime, start doing some touring. So where are you guys?
We're in Baltimore.
Yeah,
you're in Baltimore.
Come to Baltimore. Seriously.
Okay. In the spring, weather's nice.
Hey, spring is good. There's plenty of good stuff to do in Baltimore. We can take you to a sushi bar with more than like 4 people. We swear.
Baltimore is awesome for fans, awesome for shows, awesome for sports. Have some of the best fans around for everything. However, we also have a lot of murder and a lot of drugs. So,
okay, Ray's no longer selling Baltimore. I'm taking him off the ad campaign. Sell our breweries.
Yeah,
we'll be there very soon.
Junior, and you guys win. That's it.
Yeah, you may be accosted by a bunch of kids with squeegees on the side of the road, trying to harass you for money.
These are entrepreneurs, guys. They're entrepreneurs.
Yes, the entrepreneurs. Yes, he knows about that. Like, that's crazy that people know that term that aren't even from Maryland and know that they're considered entrepreneurs.
I'm out there pretty often, actually. Paul Reed Smith, his shop's out there and his house is out there. I go visit him with his family.
I deliver copiers for a living, and I've actually been to that factory. And But it was so cool walking through there because they actively make the guitars there. And like, I had to cross through the area where like they're doing like the drilling out and like the sanding down and all that. And there was just sawdust just everywhere. You could see them. And I'm just kind of like, this is fucking awesome. Like, just going through, seeing all that process go on. So yeah, I until you brought that up, that was buried way back down into the back of my mind. And I was like, oh yeah, fuck, that's right. Paul Reed Smith is, out this way. So with that, how many, when you guys tour gear wise, like how much do you guys take? Like, do you guys have like a whole trailer? Do you guys just do like a carload of stuff? Like when you guys like tour around, like, are you guys at the point where you have like your own truck, or how is it with transporting your stuff?
It depends on the tour,
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Some tours you're bringing crew with you. I mean, if it's a short run, do van and trailer. I mean, I did it all backwards. I had a carpet cleaning company in Las Vegas in the 90s, so I was making some money, and the band was shit. The music was shit, but I was paying for first class plane tickets to fly into Los Angeles and perform. And then I got a tour out on a tour bus with a full crew, and the music was better. And then I bought an RV, and we took our own RV and trailer. And now I have a van. I did it all backwards. And now the music is worthy of that first, class, private plane for that matter. Now Miles has been on all kinds of tours. We're at the age now, both of us, I'm speaking for you too, Miles, but we don't want to move gear and light gear. Everything's light now. We don't have to bring all that shit. Miles flies with a pedal board that sounds better than in 90% of the amps that we used to play through. So it's a lot easier now. But if we had our druthers, like, this album's going to smash, and it's going to require crew and touring. We're going to have to figure out a way to do it when the time comes. At this time, it being brand new, if you guys help us push the first single, push the single.
Hey, let's not only will we push it, but we will. Now I'm speaking for Ray because he'll kick my ass later. We would totally help out if you need like slave labor, crew, whatever, slave labor. I mean, I used to do some of that stuff back in the day, nowhere near the level that you guys did, and so I understand being the slave monkey. And call me up, man. We'll do it.
Oh yeah, and especially with like independent pro wrestling, it's not like WWE and all that bullshit. Like, you don't have guys who set that ring up. When you get there, your ass is helping set the ring up. Your ass is helping put the chairs up. Your ass is helping, do this, that, and another. And then you're going out there and wrestling. And that's normally, the way it works. But yeah, if you guys end up with, if you guys have a music video, definitely get it to us. and we'll play it during our ads. Speaking of which, what I'm going to do is real quick, we're going to take a small little, probably 2 to 3 minute break in case anybody needs to use the bathroom, take a drink. We're going to play some ads from some of our friends, and then we'll be right back here on the Happy Hour podcast, and we're going to get into our game segment. So, of course, we're right here live on YouTube Live with the guys from many miles away and Jerry Hula from the Share a Pint podcast. We'll be right back here live on YouTube Live with the Happy Hour podcast in 1 minute.
So this is Anastasia Rose, and I am watching the Happy Hour podcast.
But with a hard on.
In a world full of hunger and thirst, one restaurant will attempt to satisfy these cravings forever. Meet our hero, the cheeseburger, and his salty partner, crab dip tater tots. Together, with local craft beer, they take the fight to hunger. With a special appearance by Cupcake Milkshake, they... Vagabond Sandwich Company. Better making food than making commercials.
Hello, my name is Bubba Almany. I am a bodyguard who has been in the security industry for over a decade. My team and I offer a variety of security services that cover all aspects of security operations. We have secured some of the highest profile clients and largest events in the world. Should your situation require armed protection, we have the ability to carry in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Not only do we have the latest security equipment, we also have world-class training. We look forward to assisting all of your security needs by bringing you the finest and most dedicated security personnel available. From the Office of the President of the United States to local county and state dignitaries, my tactical dignitary protection officers are the tip of the spear in this extremely competitive industry. Let my highly trained staff protect the asset today. We can be contacted via the email and number below. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leanna Lovings, and you're watching the Happy Hour podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. Matt's here. Jerry's joining us from the Share a Pint podcast. Of course, Mike and Miles are here from many miles away. And Mike, of course, you were saying a little bit earlier, you have a show tonight. So where exactly can everybody see you? I know you're going to have to get out of here in a couple of minutes. Where can, in case anybody watching at home or whatever, wants to come see you tonight, where are you playing tonight?
Well, we're sold out tonight. It's actually the last show of the year. I just got word. I got somebody trying to get tickets right now in this text. We're sold out. It's at the Sahara, Las Vegas on the Strip. Breakfast in Vegas performs Thursdays and Fridays at 8:30. This is the last show of this contract we're negotiating for next year. I don't know what that, how that's going to work out, but
more money.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing run. We've done 6 months, and it's just been it was a dream for me to headline Vegas and do a residency like this, and the cast and everybody's been incredible. The property's been incredible. The Sahara Las Vegas is a boutique hotel. It's the original property that's been remodeled, and we're in a showroom that's 70 years old. It's the original showroom that Louis Prima and Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra, like Liberace, like it's historic, and so it's an honor and a privilege to be there. Tonight it's pretty exciting. It's sold out because it's the last one. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got to go last one." But it's my history. It's my roots, nice. And we're doing the songs from the acts that actually built Las Vegas entertainment, but we're doing them our style, which is vintage Vegas meets rock and roll. They're all original interpretations or renditions of those great classic songs. How would Metallica do Luck Be a Lady? How would Green Day do Dean Martin, Everybody Loves Somebody? We mash up Jimi Hendrix with Sammy Davis Jr., that kind of stuff. So it's so much fun, but it's bittersweet. I'm going to go do this last show, and then we load all of our stuff out tomorrow, and I'm just like,
No, and Mike, before you go, we're going to let you go ahead and get out of here because I know you got your show. Before you go, we normally do it at the end, but we'll have you do it now. Would you just be able to do a plug, just saying, "Hey, this is Mike Shapiro, and you're watching the Happy Hour podcast"?
Yeah, you got it. Hey, it's Michael Shapiro from Reckless in Vegas, and you're watching Happy Hour podcast.
All right, Mike. Thanks, man. We're going to go ahead and let you get out of here.
So good to talk to you. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have an amazing show. And I'm no lie. When you guys start your next project and you guys are looking to tour in March, hit us up. Before that, tell us how we can help, like get the singles out and push. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. We're going to need all the help we can get. It's a competitive market where we believe in this music so much. It's the best stuff that I personally have ever been involved in. We'll get in touch with you through Eileen, and we'll do some stuff in the future. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
All right, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year, bud. All right, so Miles, you're still with us. So what we're gonna get into our game segment called Ode to Humanity. So we play a series of games with all of our guests, and we normally start off with Never Have I Ever. So, and we normally draw random cards out. Of course, if there's anything on there you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But if you've done it, just put your hands up or take a drink. If you haven't done it, then you're all well and good. So the first one is Never Have I Ever had to retrieve something out of shit.
If I've done it, raise my hand.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that. Yeah.
Now, when you say shit, do you mean like your own shit or like your dog?
Like your dog, just shit in general. So
I don't got a drink, but I would drink for that.
Now, Miles, would you mind touching on how you had to end up retrieving something out of shit?
I mean, I multiple. I mean, my mom's one of 8, and I have like 32 cousins, and we all got kids now, and we all take care of each other.
Oh yeah.
And besides the dogs, which have eaten shit, you might have thought they ate the ring or whatever. I've had to dig through the kid shit too.
And Matt, of course, I know you have kids, so I'm sure.
Well, mine was more the dog. Luckily, I haven't had like any kids. Like I had to search their shit or anything. But yeah, my dog, I had to retrieve something out of it. I can't remember so long ago, but I know I had to at one point.
Now I feel like Miles has done it so many times. I want to know, like, what's the worst thing you had to retrieve out of?
The worst is that you're looking through it and you don't find it. And you continue to look for like 2 or 3 days, and you're like, okay, that's not
like, is that scene in 60 seconds going? You're like, he's got any minute. It's gonna come out. The key.
I know this shit is somewhere within this shit. It's gotta be around here somewhere. And the second one is Never Have I Ever stolen a kid's bike off the street. I have not ever taken a random bike.
My bike was stolen one time, but
my bike,
I've never stolen someone else's bike.
Yeah, I've never stolen anybody's bike, so I don't think I think that's a whole no from the whole room. And then,
I mean, we live in Baltimore, so I mean,
The last one is Never Have I Ever told a woman that her breasts don't match.
No, you don't say that.
Yeah, see? See, he knows. I nope. Even if they don't match,
like,
nope.
Yep,
I don't say that shit.
We're not saying that.
That's a no-go.
Right. I mean, I've seen tits that don't match, but I've never said that.
An asymmetric boob job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get into our game Incoherent. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put a series of cards up on the screen. And then Miles, what we want you to do is we want you to sound them out and try to see if you can figure out what they say. They're pretty much in drunken lingo, and we can give you a couple of hints as well for you to try to figure out what these say. So here's the first one right here. What do you think that says?
Steer range earthing. Strange.
Oh, you're getting close.
Earthlings. I don't know.
One of the hints is the upside down.
The upside down. Oh, is that that TV show with the kids?
Yes, it's a damn good show that you can watch on Netflix.
Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Yes, Stranger Things.
Gotcha.
So the first one is Stranger things. All right. So
Got
let's
it.
go ahead and get this second one ready to go, and we will get this up here. So here's the second one. What do you think this says?
Deep throat.
He got that one. He got that one right away. It is deep throat, and the hints are all in, and technically it counts only if it's 3 inches long.
How do I not get that during the freaking Royal Rumble that I wish a chance to survive rather than getting thrashed?
I'm starting to get the sense of humor here. I can,
Yeah, we're a little off.
We're a little.
And here's the last one. What do you think that is?
Gotta flip it over, dude.
Bod Dole Hope Enter. I have no idea what this is. Bod Dole Hope Enter.
One of the hints, you're saying it without saying it, which is funny. Like a lot of times when you do this, like we'll hear you say it, but you don't realize you're saying it. One of the hints is a tool used to open
bottles.
Yeah, tool used to open bottles.
Oh, a what? Bod Dole? Bottle opener? What?
Yes, it is a bottle opener. So
okay, all right, fair enough. I was like, look,
when you're sounding,
I'm trying to figure out like which bottle opener you're talking about. Like,
you went a little too deep.
Yeah, just bottle opener in general. And what's funny is this game, people either get it like people either struggle with them really bad or they get them right away. We actually, Jerry knows because he was a part of it. If you're familiar with pro wrestling any at all, they have the Royal Rumble. We had brought back 30 former guests and we played this game in a Royal Rumble style elimination. And we actually sent a championship belt out to the person who won it. And we did that back in last June. We're actually going to be doing that again next year, date to be determined. The HH Pod Rumble for 2023 will be returning because it was a huge hit last year. And what we're going to do is to finish off our Ode to Humanity segment is none other than Cards Against Humanity. Have you played Cards Against Humanity?
I have played that possibly twice in my life.
All right. So since we can't have a deck of cards in front of you here on the show, we play it roulette style. So what we're going to do is we're going to read off the face card, and then we're going to have you pick a number between 1 and 6 to answer that card to see if you choose an answer that you like. If you don't like that answer, then we'll let you do a rebuttal to choose a different answer. So the first one is I'm pretty sure I'm pretty high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by blank. So 1 through 6, what do you think? Lucky number.
I go with 6.
6. All right. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by a disappointing salad. So are you satisfied with a disappointing salad, or would you like to choose a different card?
I'll go with 5.
5. All right. So 5. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by my dead son's baseball glove. So do you like that, or do you want to use your last rebuttal?
I'm gonna rebuttal again just because that's morbid as fuck. Let's go with 4.
4. All right. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by telling Heather that she can't pull off that top.
Sorry, Heather.
And then we're going to do another round.
She probably has asymmetrical boobs, and that's just it's an awkward thing.
Her boobs don't match, so there's no way
we don't want to tell her that. You know.
And the second one is, hey, baby, come back to my place, and I'll show you blank. 1 through 6.
Let's say 2.
2. All right. Hey, baby, come back to my place, and I'll show you flying sex snakes.
Love it.
You gonna stick with flying sex snakes?
I'm staying with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Flying sex snakes.
Imagine going back. Like, imagine taking a girl home and she's like, all right, she walks in, and then it's kind of like snakes on the plane, but it's just all these snakes of sex just going everywhere. And Miles, of course, we know that Michael had a show tonight. When's the next time you're playing? Where can everybody, find you and, all that good stuff?
I'm in the midst of recording another album with the band Hot for Crime right now. So I'm flying out tomorrow morning to Miami, and that's an early morning thing. I just got told about it today. They're all out there already, and I had to come finish some stuff. But yeah, that's what's happening. And they're eager to play all the time as well, and I'm kind of holding them back as the musical director and asking them to be patient and let's finish the album, complete with me as part of everything. And they've been cool about it. So yeah, we got like 22 songs. We're gonna pick the best 9 and then release them as like singles, and then just keep going from there.
Sweet.
I was I asked this before when Michael was on and you hadn't jumped on. Talk a little bit about how you approached COVID, what you were doing as far as performances. Were you doing stuff like virtually? Were you doing stuff live? What have you noticed now that you're back on the road? Like, talk about what these last couple of years have really been like for a performer.
Oh shit. I mean, it was non-existent there for a minute, right? And then really contemplating what I'm doing as a profession came into play because I've been a musician, solidly that for 10 years of my life, supported myself doing that. And when the world shuts down and we're not really, unless you're Taylor Swift or somebody on that level, you're not selling records. Those are the only records that are like guaranteed to sell records because people in China and Japan are buying those records still just because they want it as memorabilia. And that's great for people that support, new bands, but it's really far and few between. You got to be on the road to sell that shit. CDs are coasters anymore. Nobody uses that stuff. And so, yeah, I think at the start of it was a nice break because I hadn't gotten off the road. And then past that, it was just, when are we getting going again? When is this starting? And then if things would open up for a second, shut back down, open up for a second, we'd all jump out, go on the road for 2 weeks, and then it would get shut down again. So there's a lot of like hot, cold. Now that it's somewhat steady open, who knows? It kind of feels like another wave of this shit's coming, watching the news.
I'm not sure if we can deal with another wave of shit because we're still trying to we're going to be recuperating the next 10 years from the first wave of shit compared to if there's another wave of shit.
I don't know. I think America in general is over it. Like, we're just going to continue on doing what we've been doing this last year, regardless of what strain of it's out there. And I'm grateful for that only because I continue, I made the choice at 18 years old, I'm going to be a musician, whatever that is, whether I'm a sound man or doing lights. I just want to be around music, playing guitar, mixing guitar, whatever, engineer. And I've never really looked back, and I've had jobs all along the way up until a certain point, but it really made me question. That's what the, COVID did for me specifically. It was like, well, do I go try to get a construction job again right now? Because there was no unemployment for those first 5 months. And then luckily that changed, and that was extremely helpful. And, now things are great. Things are open again. And so I'm just hoping it doesn't get back to that point for any reason anytime soon.
So I was going to say, that's why I was curious and it's interesting to hear that you say, like, are we questioning something that you love and it's your passion? I know that, Ray and the crew are going to be out at Full Tilt soon. And Dan's a good buddy of mine. And one of the guys that's put a lot of money into their brewery is Alex from All Time High. And they've done a lot of stuff with them, and they'll play at the brewery occasionally and things and all. And I just know that he said from a brewery standpoint, and a guy who loves live music, it was really hard for him to see live music places shut down and not be able to have live music to go to, because it's just such an experience and a part of his life. And he wasn't even involved with it. He was just connected through Alex. And so for me, I was just curious how much of a tumultuous situation was that for you to go, this is my life, this is my passion, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I just can't wrap my head around that.
You find other avenues. You make things. I mean, we're all survivors as artists, right? That's what we do. We learn how to survive no matter what the fucking situation is because you love it. And that's I like at 18, my grandfather worked a union job, and he held on to that job, just working a few days just to see if he could slip me in the door. And when it came and he's like, I could get you in there, I was like, no, I'm going to be a musician. You never, the look on his face was like, you fucking kidding me, right? Like, you can't be a fucking musician. But it's in my blood, man, and it's where I come from in some ways. Even if I wasn't raised by that family at all, it's, I discovered it later in life, and you can't get rid of it. So if I can do something I love for a living, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ride the wave as long as I can.
Oh yeah.
And in closing, we're going to let you get out of here in a couple of minutes. Of course, Mike said before you came on, he said that, how great of a player you are. And he thinks honestly that you're honestly better than your dad. And is there ever any times where you get like a lot of comparisons to your dad? And if that's the case, like, do you ever have anybody go, oh, well, play some of your dad's songs or anything like that? Like, is that the kind of thing where like, you just kind of are like, okay, I'm tired of you asking me.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, to me, it was like, as a young kid, and not being on a skill level that's anywhere close to where he is, it was very intimidating for me, being that he's revered as one of the best rock guitarists of his generation. And so, I think at a certain point you just let all that shit go. And I am who I am. The comparisons are always going to happen. People are always critics, and I'm my own worst critic. Can I play Journey and all that stuff? Yes, I can. Did he teach it to me? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because of that, I do my thing my way. I think just growing up hearing that shit, it's somewhere ingrained in me. But that, I liked a lot of the same stuff that he did, naturally. Like when I visited his home, there was a giant Hendrix poster right when you walked in, giant mural of him there. And I was like, that's my guy too, like I knew that was my songbook that I taught myself to learn guitar, and then I also went more of like a metal route than I think he ever did early on. And then I came back and went to the British blues stuff, and then the old American blues stuff. And I got, being in the Bay Area, there's a lot of funk players and R&B and soul and pop and all that kind of stuff. So I've diversified myself throughout the years and come to a place, and I feel like I'm really good. My strongest talent is working with whatever musicians that I am around me. Michael has his thing that he does, and I wrote an album with Mike around Michael. You know what I mean? What are his strong points, and what message can we get across, and go, kick ass live.
Nice.
Well, Michael talked about that, which I thought was really interesting before you came on. The fact that he had come over at one point, you went over to his place, and he was playing something on the piano, and you were just very kind of critical of the lyrics, as to say, who's this about? What are you singing about? Things like that. And he said it really challenged him to be better, to really think about the lyrics and how he rewrote the song and all. And I think that speaks a lot to your, musical talents and abilities to be able to feel comfortable enough, number one, to do that. And number two, have that kind of impact on somebody, because I know, as an artist, it's awful hard to hear people critique what you do because it's so personal to you.
Yeah, I have zero filter. You guys should know that about me. I've never had one of those. But Michael's the lyrical guy, I would say 80% of the time in this project. But I did bring, some songs to the table that I already had in my back pocket, or we just worked the lyrics out together. But I think, what he had a song worked out, and I just took it and flipped it over. I said, take that melody that you're singing and let's write a new bridge to it. And here's a whole different, try it against this chord progression and this rhythm, and that ended up being our first song for this. And then because of the world being shut down, this is where this album was created,
Yeah.
And we were very cautious. Michael works with his father, who's older, and, around COVID. So it was a very slow album. And that's why it's like, we started this 3 years ago, but it's nice that we did take our time, and each song had its the effort put into it. Nothing was just kind of like done in 2 days, you know?
Yeah, and when it finally comes out, you guys are going to be like, all that work, it's going to pay off, from all the work that was put in. But Miles, what we're going to do, man, we're going to go ahead and let you get out of here. We're probably going to go a little bit longer here on YouTube Live. Where can everybody watching or listening at home find you if they want to find you on social media?
I mean, I'm on all the different platforms and, websites and Facebooks and Instagrams and all that kind of stuff, as well as the band. That stuff's all we're just getting that stuff going right before this launch. But you can find me Miles Schon, or I think Instagram's Miles J Schon. Somebody else took my name already. That's kind of weird. And if it's the hard thing for people to find me is how do you spell my last name? Schon. That's Schon or Schon. But you look up my dad, or you look me up and he's gonna pop up. It's just the search engine. So
your dad's gonna show up, and so
I
gotta ask before you jump out of here. Nothing about the music and your style, because Michael really talked about how your style is so much different and you've differentiated yourself, cut your own teeth from your dad. But is there anything about performing or behind the scenes, especially since your dad's back out on the road now and they're performing? Is there anything back there on the road and performing and that kind of stuff that you picked up or you saw that you're like, that was really helpful for me to know for my own career?
From him?
Or even just observing, him being on the road or, the traveling. I mean,
my dad has an amazing work ethic. That's one thing I can say for him. He's never not working, and that's, what I accepted as being a musician myself is like, he's got probably 100 albums in the can that he just never released. You know what I mean? And I said that to Michael and this being the project, and we still did it the way that I didn't want to do it, but we just put every song we wrote, we recorded it and put it out. It's going to be on this album. And what I would have loved to do is write, 120 songs and then pick your favorite 10. And, that's like the Michael Jackson approach, right? That's how many songs he wrote per an album. And then 12 of those made that album.
Or Prince. Yeah.
Yeah. Prince, all those guys, their vault is huge. Even Hendrix,
They just found a Queen song in the vault that they just released not too long ago that they, brushed up and released from, before Freddie Mercury passed. But Miles, what we're going to do, man, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Just like what Mike did. Before you go, would you just be able to do a plug for us so we can use it on all the socials?
Yeah. What's the name of this again?
The Happy Hour Podcast.
Hey, this is Miles Schon, and you're on the Happy Hour Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. Hey, have a good new year. If you guys are ever down this way, hit us up and send us some videos. We'll play them during our ads and all that shit.
Yeah. Let us know how we can promote your songs as you start releasing them and all, for sure.
All right. Thanks, guys. It's great to meet you.
Thanks so much, Miles. Thank you.
All right. See ya. All right. So, Jerry, we're going to just go ahead and keep on rolling along. We're going to get into our featured beer, which, of course, our featured beer carries on from last week, which is Holiday Ale by New Belgium. So, Jerry,
it's a nice brewery.
Belgium?
Yeah, New Belgium Brewery. They're the ones who do Fat Tire. I believe
been out there before. They're in Fort Collins. You got to get out there.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Fort Collins is like the beer capital of the world.
Really?
You think like Colorado and Denver is big? Fort Collins is huge. You have them in New Belgium. You have Odell's. You have so many other places like Horse and Dragon and Funkworks. And I mean, there's so many great breweries in Fort Collins. It's such a small area. It's like, oh my gosh, we need to go out there and just record some shows and drink some beers.
Yeah. Right. We should go out there and do like a tour,
I've done the Fort Collins tour. I've done the Fort Collins tour a few times. I'm like, I can show you guys around. I'm like, I know it's a shocker, but when it comes to craft beer, I kind of know my way around a little bit.
Jerry, trust me, I know it. And what's funny is the live feed. Jason, our good friend Jason, he's been commenting a lot over the episode, and he said he liked Miles' tattoos. He said, what do you guys think about Elon Musk? I like Elon Musk. He said, I love this podcast. He said, are you guys going to the AVN Awards? Unfortunately, I do not have the money to go to the AVN Awards. However, for those of you watching or listening at home, please go over and vote for us at the AVN Awards for favorite adult podcast. It's an honor to be included in that. Hard work does pay off. And Jerry knows as well as anybody else, we like to have our friends on, and let them, enjoy it just as much. Like Jerry is just as much of the show as Eric Woodworth, as Tommy Simbazo, as anybody else who helps out with this show. We like to bring in all kinds of different guests. Jason also, he said you guys sound really cool. We hope you bring Michael back on the podcast. And he said, Jerry,
those two guys were great tonight. Those two guys were great tonight.
Oh yeah,
they were great. Like I can't wait to hear what they've done together, and I want to go search out stuff they've done on their own.
Oh yeah. And what I'm going to do real quick, we have 2 more news articles, but before that, lately we haven't been doing it because Matt hasn't been available and I haven't been able to pick up. I've had to go get Socrates.
No.
So our featured shot is actually being concluded tonight, which is George Dickel Tabasco Barrel Stout Whiskey.
So
is that real, or did you make that label up?
No, it's real. It's real. The label looks a little messed up because it's been in my freezer numerous times. So, and this is actually like a redo because we had this left over. So here we go. So here's this, and then we will finally be able to get. Oh, dude, we had this a long time ago.
Did you have this? Did you just pull it under the table?
Yes. You know how when we went to Exotica and Alex Cole went under the table and we were like, "Is she held?"
Oh yeah, that's fucking. When she comes back on, I'm going to ask her.
We are going to ask her about that. Speaking of which, Alex Cole will be back right here on the Happy Hour podcast on January the 27th. So make sure you look out for that. She will be right here back making her second appearance for the first time in 2 years right here on the Happy Hour podcast. So here we go. Cheers. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that says it all. The sound effects tell it all.
Jesus Christ. So
I'm pretty good with whiskey. He's not. He's a big pussy.
And we're going to get into 2 more of our news articles that we weren't able to get to earlier. And this one is victim shot with an Orbeez Gel Blaster gun.
What is that?
So, of course, this happened right here in Baltimore. And it says a 17-year-old boy was arrested and charged with an assault after police said he shot people with Orbeez. According to police, at about 2:30 p.m. Tuesday, officers responded to a report of a shooting assault at the Cromwell Field Shopping Center in Glen Burnie. A police investigation revealed that 2 victims in the area when they were approached by a juvenile boy and girl on bicycles. The boy produced what appeared to be a toy firearm with an orange plastic tip and shot the victim with a gel-like projectile. Like that sounds like a video game weapon.
No, I've seen the Orbeez. I've seen videos of.
During the investigation, additional victims came forward and explained that they too were shot at by the suspect while at the shopping center. The suspect was located by officers and discovered that the forearms was an Orbeez Gel Blaster. All right, so Jerry, you asked what an Orbeez Gel Blaster was. So let's see, Orbeez gun. So Orbeez Gel Blaster right here. So let's see, images.
Yeah, they're
okay.
They're like little
fucking
beads.
things.
They look like
okay. So here, let's pull this image up right here, and then Jerry, we'll get this on the screen.
They look like little fish eggs.
So it's a gun that shoots those. That's what the gun looks like right here. But it holds the stuff. You ever get like a plant that has like those little wet like beads in there, and you put your hand in there, and you're like, why are these wet? Like that's what it shoots. So imagine being like shot in the neck by one of those. Like that's the only place I've ever seen those is inside a damn plant. Like, look, like that kid's ready to go commit. Like he's ready to fire that thing inside of a school.
We should send him over to Ukraine.
That guy's storming the Capitol next week.
This is what the Russians are seeing in the Ukraine right now. Like this is why they are retreating.
This is why DHS is so fucking scared right now.
Yeah,
and all that shit. Like,
I mean, look how happy that kid is. Like, if you could ask for like. The number one, like if you were to ask this kid, should we ban firearms? He doesn't even have a firearm. He has like a water arm. Like, he's going to be like, my guns are my freedom. That's what that kid's going to fucking say. Oh, look, that's
there it is. There. The hell is that? Oh my god!
Imagine, like, I can't imagine those would hurt that bad.
I love it. Put those balls in there. Put water in there after 4. Oh my gosh!
Imagine
they're like they feel like
what's
that shit? Like it's
yeah,
just jelly.
Yeah, like
it's very
what's
squishy.
inside of them though? What's inside?
They just absorb water.
I feel like these kids just like shot like a bunch of adult vitamins at someone.
Yeah, like you just get these like angry ass older people that are like, he shot me with water.
No, I think they're just filled with water. I think they absorb water.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I hope they're filled with water because if you get shot in the eye with one of those, like, do you become blind at that point? Like, I mean, like what happens at that point? Because it says so these things grow. Like, you put them in a fucking cup and they absorb water. It's kind of like I wonder if it's the same material. You remember, and Jerry probably remembers, when we were kids, they had these things where you would drop them in a glass and they would fucking expand and turn like this fucking big.
Like the crystal rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Like even before you had the pita pet stuff. Oh my gosh!
Crystal rocks, you could probably stab someone in the jugular with that shit.
I totally would. Yeah.
You could those crystal rocks. You could grate cheese with those fucking things. Like, if you were out of a cheese grater, you just grate cheese right down. Like, fuck. So, oh, Jesus Christ. So, all right. So here's the last one, and I wasn't sure how the guys were going to react to this one.
Right. Instead of surprising your guests with a fucked up article.
If we had an adult film star, I would have led off with this one. It would have been the leadoff hitter. But this one is: masturbating man arrested at coffee shop, wields 4-pole like sword, say police. This also is in Maryland.
Wow.
Of course, because we're all a bunch of freaks. But seriously, good job on your part to not lead with that, because these two guys, I could see some of the stuff you did tonight and they were like, what? And I was like, you don't get this podcast. If you had led with that, we might have had the shortest interview ever.
Yep.
And we've had a very short one before.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, dude, like, and I'll say this, like, and this is just for 20. Well, I'll get into it after the article, but this one is Hanover, Maryland. Anne Arundel County police arrested a 19-year-old man after he was found undressed and masturbating inside of a coffee shop in Hanover.
Like, I was just in Hanover a few hours ago. That's really awkward. I hope it wasn't in that coffee shop.
That was Jerry.
It might have been. God damn it! Why? How'd they get to the news so fast? What the hell?
It said the encounter started at about 1:30 p.m. on December 20th. Okay, Jerry's clear. He is clear. On December 20th, when police were called to the Dunkin'. Oh, he did it in Dunkin'. Please tell me
that joke writes itself.
At the 7,000 block of Arundel Mills Boulevard. When police arrived, they said they found James Alexander Morgan. Like, why did they do his name like he killed a president? Like why does he have to have
James
like?
Yes, all three names. All three names.
Found naked masturbating.
He had a fourth name, so it's James Alexander Morgan McCarty.
It's always those motherfuckers with 4 names, dude. Shit like that.
Is his name James Alexander or Morgan McCarty, or is it all together? Wait, it says they found him inside, naked, screaming, and masturbating. Now, I have done this in my own house.
In a Dunkin' Donuts?
I can't imagine naked, screaming, and masturbating.
Do not buy the cream-filled donuts. Do not buy them.
Imagine walking in just to pick up your mobile order, and this guy's screaming and violently masturbating in the place. Like, at that point, like, do you just help them out and throw the hot coffee on his wang? Like, I don't.
Zero cream and jelly filled donuts ever.
Wait, Jerry, it gets better.
Oh, I'm gonna get better.
Police say he fought with the officers, and several officers were needed to secure his hands and place him in handcuffs.
God,
dude, a GI Joe Kung Fu grip. You couldn't break him loose.
Yeah, like, imagine that. Like, you're trying to arrest a man, but he's just like, nah, bro, and he's just too busy.
I'm not done yet.
At the hospital, police say he broke an IV pole and tried to lock the room he was in. When police and hospital security entered the room, police say McCarty pulled the pole out from his pants and wielded it like a sword while advancing towards officers. This dude, this is one of the best articles we've read of 2022, and it's one of the last ones.
It's next level, and it happened here in Baltimore.
Police used a taser on McCarty and were able to secure him.
I am so glad you didn't share that with our guests, or they are not performing in Baltimore ever.
Oh, my
ever.
I would have been like, please let me grip my cock before you shoot me with that taser. So I can be like,
He's coming at the police with IV pole. Like, is he trying to violently masturbate again? And of course, Jason, our good friend Jason, he said, "I love this podcast so much. You rock, Ray." And he said, "I can't wait to meet you guys at Exotica. I'm so excited." And Jason, of course, we're going to try to go to Exotica next year in New Jersey. And to close 2020, of course, Jerry, thank you, man, for coming on.
Thank you.
You're a great friend of the show. In closing of 2022 was a huge year for us here for the Happy Hour podcast. Of course,
you guys killed it. You guys, here's the deal. Because you don't have to blow your own horn. Let somebody else blow it for you. And that's really awkward. That's really awkward after our Dunkin' Donut things.
If I could blow my own horn, I would, but I'm too big.
You're just not that limber. I get it. You think with professional wrestling, you'd be a little more limber, but no. But seriously, you hustle. Hustle and work hard and grind, and it's just in your DNA. It's part of what made you a successful indies wrestler and put you in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's you. I'm really excited to just be I can't even make a small enough sliver to say how associated I am with you guys, because it's so minute and tiny. But I'm just really proud of you guys for how hard you work and how hard you hustle and how dedicated you are. And I'm glad to see you guys start reaping the benefits, going to Exotica, being up for an AVN award. Everybody vote every day. Vote. I mean, it's amazing.
We've been invited to 2 red carpets.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm not trying to.
Eileen Shapiro, who shout out to Eileen, who hooked us up with the guests tonight. They're doing a movie premiere for Sadie Katz, who was on the show.
Yeah, she was a good guest. She was good.
Yeah,
she was fun.
You were here for that as well.
She was fun. She was fun.
Jimmy Star owns the company that Eileen
and
works
for. Jimmy's awesome.
Oh my God. And they're doing a movie premiere in New York, and they asked us if we wanted to come up.
Yeah,
for that.
You totally should go.
So we're trying to work stuff out. Me and Matt, and
you should go. You two should go. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. So we're trying to do that. And
put the body cam on.
Oh yeah.
You gotta put the body cam on your your equally separated breasts. I will not help them.
I think Mike might have did a little bit of research on the show. I don't think Miles really did much, but the thing is with our show is, we have everybody on our show. Like, we're mainly an adult driven, Christ, we're nominated for an AVN award. So,
and like I said, I will reiterate, I didn't have to gangbang anyone to get that award.
We don't have to do anything of those sorts to get nominated, but
not saying that I wouldn't. No.
And I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of good, big podcasts on there. We're probably not going to win, but just being nominated.
Nomination's huge. Yeah.
It's huge. And Matt said this a couple of weeks ago, of the fact that we're just 2 guys who sit in the basement and talk to people, and be nominated over some of these shows who have transformed their whole entire basement into a set. And I've talked to Erica Icon from the Rub PR. You met her during the Happy Hour Pod Rumble. She said that's a big category. That category should not have been as big as it was. And she told me,
they need to break that down, because you're up against people who are in professional studios, who are backed and supported by people with funding. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And, not going to name anything, but Erica herself said, some of those people probably should not be there. And she said, but you guys, your show deserves 1000%.
That's awesome.
And that's the thing. And it's like, we just sit there and talk, I glanced at notes. There's a note page there and a note page there. I barely looked at them all night. And, it feels legitimate. We know our we live in a society now, Jerry, where a show like Howard Stern, a show like The Man Show, shows like that don't really, they couldn't exist today. And that's kind of what our show is, but It's starting to take a little bit of steam, God forbid, Elon Musk, doing what he's doing with Twitter. Everybody's saying Twitter's going to close down. If I put 44 billion into it, I wouldn't let it fall, but that's a lot of our social footprint is Twitter. Sarah J to share something. She has 1.5 million followers.
Right.
That's 1.5 million people who see her.
The only social media I have is Twitter.
Yeah.
And I get shit all the time for not having Facebook or Instagram and other stuff.
Don't worry about it. We're banned on TikTok, and I'm never going back to there again. And I can promise you that.
I don't want to be on TikTok. 12-year-old girls are on TikTok.
We're too talented to be on TikTok.
Yes. You have too much versatility. You know?
TikTok does not like hearing stories about men violently masturbating inside of Dunkin' Donuts while you're trying to order donuts.
Oh, no, great. Jerry. So I'm going to tell you, you got to get that chick on the show that had that freaking alligator.
Yes.
You got to get her now before that freaking alligator eats her ass.
Yes.
Because afterwards, she's just some, really awkward, disfigured person who had an alligator. You need her now before she gets eaten by that thing.
Yeah. And of course, Jason, he said, Jerry, have you ever been to Exotica before? And Jerry,
no.
Offer, if you want to go next year, feel more than welcome to come along with us. I've already had, no bullshit, probably about 8 people say we are going with you guys next year. Ashley Pontius.
I'm sure a lot of people want to hop on your bandwagon. I don't want to be a bandwagon jumper. I'm just you guys do what you do. If I get invited, I will happily accept, but I'm not the bandwagon jumper. I'm like, you guys hustled, you guys work, you guys get the rewards for it. I'm not trying to be the guy that jumps on board and goes, I was here all along.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've always been great with networking. I've always, all the way back from when I was a pro wrestler, like, you need to get yourself out there the most way possible. That's why, Jerry, we invite you on, we invite our local comedians on, because we also want to help other people grow along with us. I haven't made a dime on this show. Not one single dime on this show have I made, but I still love it. I still put the money out. Of course, shout out to Derek from Curtain Jerker Designs. He does an amazing job on all of our guest graphics. Of course, now we can put on all of our graphics 2023 AVN Award nominee.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the thing. So, 2022 for us as a whole has been great. We've had a lot of great episodes. I don't really think that there's a lot of episodes that stand out as my favorite. Like, we've had many good episodes. Really good guests, we had Natasha Nice, we had D. Williams, we just so many people to where their views just Sarah J came back. Of course, the Happy Hour Pod Rumble, man, a lot of people were like, are you crazy? You're going to have 30 people at one time. That's going to be utter chaos. But
that was the best. No, you managed that well. How people do not follow you to know your background, to go, you understand what that is to make that work. To me, that was just a brilliant strategy on your part, because it's something that and you're like, hey, how can I make this something that translates into what I'm doing now? And I was like, dude, I was happy to be a part of it, even though I was done in like 5 seconds.
I tell people all the time, it's funny because, and Jerry, we're going to let you get out of here pretty soon, because I know we're running close to 9 o'clock and we've been going for about an hour and a half. But like, I've said this before, and it's funny that we're up for an award for a podcast, is that I will still say to this day, I have no idea how to do a podcast, but I know how to be a sports entertainer. And I take what I learned in pro wrestling and I do it with this. I acknowledge the crowd. I know how to work. I'm very animated. I'm very character driven. We have a lot of gimmicks on the show, like our news articles, our games, all that different stuff.
To me, all that stuff separates you. That separates you guys. And the fact that you're committed to being different and trying things that other people might not try, and it might work, it might not, and you don't care. to me, that's what helps you be successful, because you're like, oh, that worked, we'll stick with it. Oh, that didn't work, we get rid of it. But you're doing all of it live. So you're putting yourself out there just like you did as a professional wrestler, where you're like, this is who I am and this is my character. And if it doesn't work, well, I'll create another character because I'm not going away.
Yeah, like you notice, like our segments change all the time. We didn't even do, like, we started to run thin on what the fuck is that food. So we stopped doing those because they started to run thin. If Ray posts any more on Facebook, I'll snatch them up, use them on the show. But I always like to be I always tell people that the only thing that is guaranteed with this show is me. That's it. This horse doesn't ride if it's not me, because I know how to do all the equipment. I know how to do whatever. I run all the social media, like Matt knows, he'll say it, Matt comes, he co-hosts, whatever, but everything else I do. We don't have an editor. We don't have,
because Matt is secretly working on that damn cartoon that he and I talked about months ago. And when that son of a bitch comes out, I want to see
talk about it anymore. But dude, I've got so things in the back, dude, that I'm working on, man.
Oh yeah, like we talk about it probably at least once a week. But no, Jerry, honestly, man, you're a great friend of the show. We met you at Hysteria. If you get any time on the on the 21st, definitely come out to Full Tilt.
Oh yeah, Dan's a good buddy of mine. I'm definitely going to work on trying to make it out there for you guys, because that will be a good time. Like along Hysteria lines. Like you've done some other things, I don't know, but I'm like the Hysteria fun will be very similar to what you experienced with Dan and the crew at Full Tilt. You guys will get tilted. It'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, did you see our second Hysteria episode when we went there? Like, I feel like the second time we went, that's kind of how we want to do our local features, because we brought people up, random people,
right?
And we talked to them, and we were like, "What's your favorite kind of brew?" Blah blah blah, and then we asked them our random bullshit show stuff that we always do, and it worked out well. Yeah. So with Fully Fermented, for those of you watching at home, of course, Fully Fermented, we don't do that live. That's a tape show. This is live every single week. But Fully Fermented, of course, the 21st is going to be Full Tilt Brewery, right here in Baltimore. And then we're going to be at Zen West on February 4th, because our friends from A Light Divided will be playing live, and we're going to go talk to them and cover some of their show. And then in March, I've already talked to them because I have my holiday party at my job there. We're going to be at Pool Island Brewing, and we're going to be over there because my boss, his daughter-in-law works there, so I can get the
They do some really good stuff. They're under the radar. They got some really nice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They're right across the street from my work. That's where we had a company party. Cool. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. A lot of stuff.
2023 looks packed already.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to be here live next week, right here on YouTube Live. Of course, our pregame starts at 7:30. Our guests may very well join us early. She may not. Of course, our guest is adult film star Caitlin Bell, so she will be joining us right here on the program, right here on YouTube Live. And then we're working out a guest with Eileen on Friday the 13th. So another musician that will be joining us right here on Happy Hour Podcast on Friday the 13th. Make sure you go over to www.thehhpod.com, www.youtube.com/Happy Hour TVMD, and follow us on all of our social media pages. We now officially are over 1,000 followers on Twitter. I think we were at like 1,015 before we went live. Of course, that's not a monumental. That's not Elon Musk numbers.
Dude,
that's not Taylor Swift numbers.
We started our Twitter when officially like 2-3 weeks ago.
But now
I'm not throwing out my follower number, but it's so significantly lower than you guys. It's really embarrassing.
Well, hopefully you'll get some more followers tonight. I'm sure Jason will probably follow you. He follows a lot of people who normally come on to our show. Shout out to Jason. He tunes in each and every week. He loves the show. Can't wait to meet up with him and Exotica. But Jerry, I know you're a busy man, and we're going to go ahead and let you get out of here, brother. Thank you. Maybe we'll meet back up on Friday the 13th for the next musician we have on.
Hey, let's figure it out. I'm always happy that you invite me on. I won't go into detail. My schedule is now a little lighter than it was, where I was literally locked out of being able to do things. We'll just say my life is in a different state now. Yeah. I'm a little more available. So I'm happy to be, involved. And to me, hey, Happy New Year's, guys, because it's going to be gone. So Happy New Year's. I will definitely see you guys at Full Tilt. But before then, I'm all in, brother.
All right, man. Jerry, we appreciate it, brother. For everybody watching and listening at home, this will conclude our final episode of an amazing year for the Happy Hour podcast. Make sure there's only a short period of time left. I think, maybe 7 or 8 days. Get out, vote for us for the AVN Awards. Even if we don't win, go out, make some fucking noise, and let people know that the Happy Hour podcast is here and that it's not going anywhere. Once again, thank you, and we will see you guys right here live on YouTube Live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here. Me, Matt, me, Tom, me, Jerry, me, and Tommy Sabazo.
See you next year.
Whoever it is, we will be here live. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, Red. Thanks, Matt.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right, so there's that, and we are